Welcome to Santa Clarita Weekly, where we cover all things local in Santa Clarita Valley every Saturday morning at 9 on KQRU 107.9. Join hosts Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty as they uncover the latest news, events, sports highlights, and more, keeping you connected and engaged with what matters most in our hometown.
Welcome back for another edition of Santa Clarita Weekly with Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty. I'm Sage and he's Tim. You can listen to us on the radio at KQRU 107.9 FM on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. We're also on YouTube and Instagram, and you can find us online at santaclaritastar.com. If you'd like to support our show in santaclaritastar.com, we have provided affiliate links to purchase Tyler Glasnow bobblehead. Of course, Glasnow is a Santa Clarita native who currently plays for the Dodgers. If you purchase products using our affiliate links, our show and website will get a portion of the proceeds at no additional cost to you. The links can be found under the YouTube video of the show, as well as on our website, santaclaritastar.com. So this week, we're going to be talking about Kipp Mueller, former candidate for state senate. He spoke at a fundraiser for SCV Democrats about a bill he is pushing through the legislature that would require utility companies to provide AEDs to save the lives of their employees. Karen Frost, the chair of the Santa Clarita-based Los Angeles County Moms for Liberty, spoke at an event in Long Beach. And in sports, the Canyon boys are in the championship game in the CIF Southern Section Division 2A basketball playoffs. The Hart girls lost in the quarterfinals of the Division 2 AA playoffs, and the Hart boys soccer reached the semifinals in the CIF Southern Section Open Division playoffs and played Loyola. The Kings returned from the break and won 2 games at the Crypto.com arena. The Dodgers are in spring training and getting ready for the start of the 2025 season with plenty of new faces and high expectations. So Kipp Mueller, an attorney based in Santa Clarita and a former candidate for state senate, spoke at the Santa Clarita Valley Democrats Happy Blue Year event about legislation he is working on and pushing through the legislature in Sacramento. The bill is called the Justin Crop Safety Act and would require utility companies to provide AEDs to save the lives of their employees who work around dangerous electricity.
I set my life back. I'm also lawyering, and we have over 400 of the Eaton Fire victims as clients from one of the biggest firms in the Eaton Fire. So, for those of you who didn't know, I've been fighting Edison. I continue to fight Edison, enjoy it very much, and I get to fight for those victims and do civil rights work as well. And then I get to push for some of the bills that I wanted to work on otherwise. Unfortunately, we have wonderful people in office like Pilar who are willing to do the work. So just to share this bill in particular, there's a few I'm working on. They're all consumer protection related bills. This one, I had the honor of representing the family of a man named Justin Crop, who was a lineman who worked on the transmission lines that power our cities. These are the people that do the hard work that make our lives go. And every day they go out and do a job that threatens their lives, and they do it honorably. And it's almost like a military culture, watching out for your brothers out there with this kind of work. So, unfortunately, he passed away. We represented him against Southern California Edison. That case resolved, but had there been an AED out there, an automated external defibrillator, he would have lived. And we had a cardiologist on the team who said clearly that AED would have survived with that. AEDs, not required to be on electrical work sites. Makes no sense. They're required in health and fitness centers. They're required in recreational swimming pools. And that's how you lose your life when you're doing electrical work, is typically fibrillation, where your heart becomes arrhythmic. So the bill requires AEDs on work sites, and it's called the Justin Crop Safety Act, named after Justin. And his family is involved and is helping push the bill as well. But it looks very promising. Pilar's carrying it, and it's literally going to save lives. So that's the legislation we're working on together. Yes? And I just want to continue to be I'm not running again. I'm very happy to have my life back. But I will continue to be in touch. I have, friends who are in office, fortunately, and want to be a conduit for all of you. If you have ideas and you're interested in being involved, to get some bills passed, to get some wonderful work done in California. as we're still able to do despite what's going on nationally, we can focus on the state and get some wonderful stuff done. So if you have ideas, I'd love to chat with you and see what we can do. Otherwise, I will be around. I look forward to being a benefactor for others who are running for local, for state, for federal, stay involved, and have my life back at the same time. So that's my plan, and good to see you all.
Assemblywoman Pilar Schiavo, who represents Santa Clarita, is sponsoring the bill. So Karen Frost, who lives in Santa Clarita, is the chair of the LA County chapter of Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty is designated as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center and is known ties to the white supremacist organizations like the Proud Boys and Patriot Front. The organization has been fighting against teachers' unions and LGBTQ plus rights in Santa Clarita Valley and nationwide notoriety when they attempted to push a parental notification, also known as a forced outing policy, in Santa Clarita high schools in 2024. Spoke to conservatives at an event in Long Beach in an attempt to expand the organization's influence in LA County. Frost talked about Moms for Liberty being designated as hate or an extremist group by the Southern Poverty Law Center and said this was a conspiracy by the Biden administration, of course, which there's no evidence for.
I feel that it does, and that's why I joined. But I will tell you, the far left, you've heard of the Southern Poverty Law Center?
Yes.
Yeah, Southern Poverty Law Center was working with the Biden administration, and in closed-door sessions, they were able to designate us as a hate group. Yeah. Okay, there's nothing hateful about us. We're just moms and dads and grandparents standing up for parental rights. So some people, do internet search and go, oh, Moms for Liberty is a hate group. Tell me how. They can't answer that question. They just saw it online someplace. It scares people off. So you can show up and say, I'm Moms for Liberty, or you can show up and you say, I'm John Q. Citizen, and this is what I believe. I like being part of Moms for Liberty because it's like a parent union. I have lots of teacher friends, and a lot of them don't like the California Teachers Association, but it gives them collective bargaining for pay and work environment and work benefits. And so when you have a collective voice, you have more power. It's the same thing with Moms for Liberty.
The Frost told the group that she is fully supportive of the effort by President Trump and billionaire Elon Musk to drastically cut the size of government. Trump has made it known that he intends to shut down the Department of Education, which provides critical funding for special education programs in Santa Clarita and around the country. Trump has also frozen funding for Head Start, which will affect the Early Start programs in schools in the Santa Clarita Valley.
President Trump has been at our last two summit meetings. One was in Philadelphia. The last one was in Washington, D.C. He loves what we're doing. Now, there are a lot of organizations like Moms for Liberty. There's Moms for America. There's Turning Point. There's Turning Point Faith. We are not competitors. We are all allies. We hook arms. We fight together. We all have a voice in this. This is just one avenue. But what we carve out to do, it's in our mission statement. So if you guys saw this little flyer here, this passed out, our mission statement, Moms for Liberty is dedicated to fighting for the survival of America by unifying, educating, and empowering parents to defend their parental rights at all levels of government. So that's our carve out. There's a lot of really important things that we need to be paying attention to. The borders, that's huge. Doge and everything that Doge is doing, it's huge, okay? And I'm not minimizing that in the least, but what is our carve out? Our carve out is fighting for educational rights, parental rights, specifically having to do with education.
In the 2024 elections, Moms for Liberty had a great election year, with many right-wing candidates getting elected to office. Karen Frost talked about that and about how Patty Garibay, who is the president of the Saugus Union School District Governing Board, frequently consults her on policies and issues before the board.
So the election cycle, I campaigned actively for about 4 candidates. We got 3 of them on. One didn't do all the things that I was trying to get him across the finish line, but and that would have been a great win if we could have gotten him across, but he just wasn't in it as much as he should have been. But the other candidates that we got involved, I now have the president of our local elementary school district in my specific neighborhood. She's the president of the school board. She now calls me and says, Karen, I have something that I'm presenting to the school board, the rest of the school board, and the superintendent. I'd like to get your thoughts. That is a win. Okay. I have a school board trustee from the high school district that called me yesterday. He says, Karen, we have all of these policies that are on our desk, waiting until we had a 4-to-1 majority on our school board, which we have now because we fought really hard knocking on doors, making phone calls, and dropping off flyers. We have a 4-to-1 majority on our high school board now. He says we have all of these policies like parental rights and taking the tampon machines out of the boys' bathrooms and all of these things. We have all of these policies that are on their desk. We'd like your help to do this. We need your people. So now I have the school board trustees that are calling us saying, I need your help to get this across the finish line. That is a win, okay? So this really works if you are doing it at the really grassroots level. So the reason why I'm here today is because Maureen and I have been talking and we've been working, and I'd like to see this replicated, what has been working well in Santa Clarita, replicated in Long Beach. I want to see it replicated in Pasadena. I want to see it replicated in Glendale. I had to do the legwork of filing to get an LA County chapter, filing the tax forms and all of the 501c4s. All of that's done. Now all we need to do is get concerned parents and grandparents or other concerned adults to start showing up at these school board meetings and paying attention, and then really start pushing back on things that don't make sense. Or when there's a school board candidate that's up for election, really start fighting and advocating for somebody that's qualified to replace them.
Karen Frost spoke about the recall of a school board member named Madison Miner in Orange County. Miner was recalled after firing the superintendent and implementing bans on so-called critical race theory, something that isn't actually taught in elementary and high schools, among other right-wing policies. Miner was successfully recalled in March of 2024.
So Madison Miner is she is the Moms for Liberty chapter chair in Orange County. She was a school board trustee in, I believe, the city of Orange, and she is a strong conservative with conservative values, and she and another school board trustee were recalled by extreme far-left activists, and they were removed from their positions and replaced by leftists. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's the far left, they're loud, they can be intimidating, and they can scare some people. And I've had some people that have joined Moms for Liberty and started to say things, and they get a whole bunch of hate emails online and they back away. It's not for the faint of heart. The left is loud and scary, but they're keyboard warriors. And so you just have to find out where you fit within this paradigm and what feels authentic to you and what resonates within you that you say, I have to do this. I have to stand up for what's right. I don't care if I get a little pushback. I need to do this because it's the right thing to do. So Madison got removed from her position because the recall was effective. And that really was, she got elected into the position by conservatives, and there were not enough conservatives that step up and say, no, I don't believe she should be recalled. And this is one of the things here in California, guys. We got President Trump elected, and I'm really proud that he is. And we have great things coming from the top down. We do. And eventually it's going to reach California, but it's only going to reach us if we really, really work hard to make it go into effect here, okay? And it's not going to happen easily. We need to fight to get the executive orders and congressional laws permanent here, because the establishment, the bureaucracy, the legislators, the Tony Thurmans and the Rob Bontas and the Gavin Newsoms, they are going to fight tooth and nail to prevent it happening here in California. It's eventually going to happen, but it's going to happen because we are willing to stand firm and usher it in. With President Trump being elected, he said President Biden's redefinition of Title IX is not valid. We're going back to the original. States like California are saying, no, we're going to go our own way. Maine, I don't know if you heard the governor's luncheon the other day, and President Trump said, I'll see you in court.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Good. Okay, that's going to happen in California too. It's going to get ugly here. It will. It's going to get ugly here. It's going to get ugly in New York. It's going to get ugly in Maine. It's going to get ugly in New Mexico and all of these other states with liberal governors pushing it. Eventually, it's going to work its way out through the courts, and President Trump is going to, and we are going to win on this. But it's not going to happen without our supporting his agenda. And we have to stand up and say, no, this is what I believe in. This is the executive order. This is federal law. School board, you're in violation of federal policies, and hold them accountable to this, because they're going to do whatever they want. Tony Thurman and Rob Bonta here in California, they're going to run amok here in California until the funding starts getting stripped. And it's going to happen, and it's going to get ugly for a while.
One of my friends is, I've known him for a couple months now. His name's John, and his parents are Republican, and he mentioned it briefly. He said he's not sure what to think because he was never involved in politics before. And he eventually did vote for Trump, which I found out about, which is great, but he's not as strong and foundation as I am. And so I don't want him turning. I don't want him to be, indoctrinated and then turn against our country and Trump, because that's what's happening to so many people, and it's hard to watch.
Well, there's so many people my age that have college-age kids that say, I raised my kids and they had great values and went to church, and then they went off to college and they came back liberal, granola-eating blue hairs, right?
Yeah.
It may be, college may be great.
The Los Angeles County Moms for Liberty has been emboldened by recent election wins and efforts by the Trump administration to weaken teachers' unions in the Department of Education and cut critical programs used by local Santa Clarita residents. You're listening to KQRU 107.9 FM in Santa Clarita. You can listen to Santa Clarita Weekly on Saturday mornings at 9 and on YouTube, Instagram, wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, Tim, can you talk to us about what's going on in local sports?
Okay, yeah, so let's start with the CIF Southern Section basketball playoffs that are going on. The Canyon boys are in the championship game of the CIF Southern Section Division 2A playoffs after beating Oak Park in the semifinals. Canyon will be playing for their first CIF Southern Section boys basketball championship in school history. The Canyon boys needed to rally in the second half to win the game against Oak Park. Down 6 points at halftime, Canyon outscored Oak Park 18-9 in the third quarter and 32-19 in the second half. Eric Kubel scored a team-high 22 points for Canyon, and Isaac Yuhiko scored 16. Canyon knocked out Rancho Mirage 60-57 in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. Kubel scored 25 against Rancho Mirage, and Yuhiko scored 16 again. Canyon plays St. Bonaventure in the championship game at Azusa Pacific University. St. Bonaventure beat Irvine 66-60 in their semifinal game. Canyon is 23-9 and the third-place team from the Foothill League. St. Bonaventure is 26-6 and the champion of the Tri-Valley League. On the girls' side, the Hart girls reached the quarterfinals of the CIF Southern Section playoffs and lost. The Hart girls took Palos Verdes to overtime in the quarterfinals of the CIF Southern Section Division 2 AA playoffs and lost 67-64. The score was tied 60-60 after regulation, but Palos Verdes took control of the game in the final period. In the extra period, trailed Palos Verdes 42-36 at halftime, but the Hart girls rallied in the second half, outscoring Palos Verdes 24-18 and tying the score at the end of the fourth quarter. Morgan Mack scored a team-high 28 points and had 10 rebounds for Hart. She finished her high school career with 1,814 points. Andrea Aina scored 21 against Palos Verdes and finished her high school career with 1,076 points. And move on to high school soccer playoffs, the CIF Southern Section high school soccer playoffs, where the Hart boys reached the championship round of the CIF Southern Section playoffs. The Hart boys soccer team lost a pair of games to Loyola in the CIF Southern Section Open Division playoffs. Hart and Loyola played a doubleheader in the semis of the playoffs. The Hart boys were shut out in both games, losing the first game 1-0 and the second game by the same score, 1-0. Despite the losses, the Hart boys qualified for the CIF Southern Section Southern California Regional. Despite the losses, the Hart boys qualified for the CIF Southern California Regional playoffs. Loyola is playing J. Sarah in the championship game of the Southern Section Open Division playoffs. Now move on to the Kings, where the Kings are back on the ice after taking a break for the Four Nations face-off. The Kings won 2 games in a row after the Four Nations face-off break and have won 4 of their past 5 games at home. The Kings have a 19-3 record at home after 22 games with 3 overtime losses. It is the best home record in the NHL. In the first game after the break against the Utah Hockey Club, Doughty, fresh off winning the Four Nations Face-Off tournament with Team Canada, scored his first goal of the season in the first period. His goal tied the score 1-1. Utah took a short-lived 2-1 lead on Barrett Hayton's second power play goal of the game. The Kings scored 2 goals in the second period to take a 3-2 lead. Kevin Fiala scored his 22nd goal of the season on a power play, and Alex Laferriere scored his 15th goal of the season to give the Kings a 1-goal lead. Doughty assisted on both goals. The Kings extended their lead 4-2 on a goal by Trevor Lewis, but Hayton scored his third goal of the game for a hat trick moments later to cut the lead to 1 goal again. Mikey Anderson scored an empty netter goal in the final minutes of the game to secure the win for the Kings. The next game for the Kings was against the Vegas Golden Knights, the first-place team in the Pacific Division. Moore scored 2 more goals, and Fiala scored his 23rd goal of the season. In the Kings' 5-2, Quentin Byfield had 4 assists in the game. The Kings scored 4 goals in the third period to blow open the game. Moore gave the Kings a 1-0 lead in the first period on a power play goal. Vegas scored 2 goals in the second period to take a 2-1 lead. Moore scored 42 seconds into the third period to tie the score 2-2. It was his 10th goal of the season. Warren Fogle, Joel Edmondson, and Fiala added goals in the third period. And Kings coach Jim Miller talked about the third period outburst against the Golden Knights.
Yeah, it was a hard game. I thought we came out pretty well, even though we weren't really dangerous, to be honest with you. I mean, the power play goal was nice. It was important. Second period, they took us to the schoolyard, I thought, a little bit. That was pretty obvious for all of us. Faster, stronger, more competitive. And so we had to decide. We're just going to let them take it from us. And, clearly the guys had a pretty good response in the third.
The Kings are 31-17 with 7 overtime losses and in third place in the Pacific Division after 48 games. They play the Vancouver Canucks at home before heading out on a 3-game road trip. I'm going to hand it over to Sage now to give us an update on how the Dodgers are doing in spring training.
All right, so let's talk about the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are off to a slow start in the spring training. It doesn't mean much, but the Dodgers are 1-5 after their first 6 games of the Cactus League in Arizona. The games don't count, but they do offer a glimpse of what to expect from the Dodgers in 2025. So the Dodgers won the World Series in 2024. Shohei Ohtani won the National League MVP and became the first player to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in the same season. He is back and will return to the mound at some point during the season. He did not pitch in 2024, recovering from a shoulder injury, but the Dodgers expect him to pitch about 100 innings, make 15 to 20 starts, but he probably won't make his first start until a couple of months into the season. There's no need to rush him, and the Dodgers want to play it safe with their all-star designated hitter. Plus, the Dodgers are stacked with starting pitchers heading into the season. They added new arms, Blake Snells and Roki Sasaki. They added 2 new arms, Blake Snells and Roki Sasaki. Snell comes over from the San Diego Padres and brings a Cy Young Award with him. Sasaki is the latest Japanese import the Dodgers added to their roster. Sasaki will join Yoshinobu Yamamoto in the rotation. Yamamoto came over from Japan last season and went 7-2 with a 3.0 ERA in 90 innings in his rookie major league season. He spent a part of the season on the injured list, but was also an effective starter in the playoffs and World Series for the Dodgers. Sasaki spent 4 seasons in the Japan Pacific League and went 30-15 with a 2.02 ERA. Tyler Glasnow will round out the rotation to start the season with a promising line of starters waiting for the chance to shine. So first on the list is Clayton Kershaw. He will be in the mix, even if it is only as a spot starter. Next is Tony Gonsolin. He has shown all-star level skills in the past and will be given a chance to do it again. Dustin May has returned to the mound in spring training and is showing promising signs. Bobby Miller is also in the mix for a rotation spot, but his first spring training appearance was a painful one. He took a line drive off the forehead in a game against the Cubs. He was taken out of the game, but didn't appear to be seriously hurt. He was placed on concussion protocol afterward and was complaining of headaches a day after getting hit. but Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said he is progressing and will be able to pitch again during spring training. The Dodgers open the season in Japan against the Cubs on March 18th. So, Tim, are the Dodgers going to make it to the World Series for 2025?
I think it's a little early to be making World Series predictions right now, but they are a favorite. I mean, obviously, this team it didn't get worse from last year. We talk about all the additions that the Dodgers made, especially on the pitching staff, but they did lose two big pitchers, and that may turn out to be a problem later on in the season. I mean, the Dodgers' worst problems, their biggest weakness over the last couple of years has been pitching depth. And their pitchers, for whatever reason, they tend to get hurt, they miss games, and it hurts the Dodgers. It hurts the Dodgers when they don't have top line pitchers going out every day. So, they lost Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler was a fan favorite, and he closed out the World Series for the Dodgers last year. And he was a big part of the reason the Dodgers were a World Series winning team last year. And they also lost Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty ended up going back to the Tigers, and he was another key pitcher. Came up with some big starts down the stretch. Made sure that the Dodgers didn't lose any ground in their playoff run up and in the postseason. So those are two big arms that the Dodgers may regret letting go. But on the other side, they did bring in some big arms to fill those spots. Blake Snell has shown that he can be the best pitcher in the league sometimes, and Roki Sasaki is the best pitcher in Japan. I mean, he's been the best pitcher in Japan for the last 2 or 3 years. So they're not losing any talent. It's just a matter of keeping everybody healthy and keeping that rotation strong for the whole season.
All right. Thank you, Tim. So that's our show. So tune in next week for more discussions about the news from Santa Clarita. You can listen to us on the radio at KQRU 107.9 FM on Saturday mornings. You can also watch us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and listen to us on SantaClaritaStar.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. So leave us a comment and be sure to subscribe to Santa Clarita Weekly Online. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Santa Clarita Weekly. You can watch the show on Santa Clarita Star's YouTube channel and Facebook page, as well as listen in on the radio at KQRU 107.9. Visit SantaClaritaStar.com for more content and tune in right here to KQRU 107.9. A new voice for Santa Clarita.